My name is Fred Panhorst. My wife and I have been members of Peachtree City United Methodist Church since the first Sunday in January of 2000, and this is me. My story today starts in January 30th, 1968. We graduated 99 from my flight school class. January 30th was the first day of Tet in Vietnam. I then flew my first combat mission on February 20th, 21 days after graduating from flight school. So I went from flight school, home on leave, to Vietnam in 3 weeks. Before I left for Vietnam, my then fiance gave me a copy of the New Testament and the Psalms. And I carried it every day for both of my tours in Vietnam. I kept it wrapped in plastic so it didn't get wet. Always read the 91st Psalm, the part where God gives his angels charge over you so you don't dash your foot into a stone. It's pretty important to a pilot not to dash your foot into a stone. There are a lot of significant dates in Vietnam for me, but probably one of the most significant is December 25th, 1968, Christmas. There was a truce and the Viet Cong had agreed to release 3 U.S. POWs. I was a member of the Diamond Head 20 Light Fire Team, and we were sent up to Tay Ninh on strip alert in case something went wrong. But we would be the first ones off, and we were required to have one pilot strapped in the aircraft, ready to go. All I had to do was hit the battery and the starter, and we'd be airborne in 1 minute and 30 seconds. It was unbelievably hot. I remember sweating. I had my gloves on. I was strapped in the aircraft, and I looked down the flight line, and there was a Jeep coming along, and it was stopping at every aircraft. I didn't know who it was. We'd already eaten our Christmas meal, cold turkey, cold mashed potatoes and gravy, cold green beans. And finally the Jeep came up to our aircraft, and it was the chaplain. And he got out and he said, "Would you like to take communion?" And up till that time, I was ready to go kill somebody. I'll be quite, I was just in the mood. I was not in a good mood at all. And in taking communion, my mood changed. I wasn't as hot anymore. I was still sweating, but I just wanted everybody to come home. I wanted the GIs that were supposed to be released as POWs. I wanted all the crews and everybody, but also wanted the Vietnamese to go home. We all had families and friends, and just the act of taking communion made all the difference. It was probably the most moving communion I've ever had. I think that moment made me a better husband, a better future father, a better Christian. It's just a feeling I have when I have communion, a feeling of peace. I feel closer to God. I'm not talking when I do communion. I'm listening. And the body and the blood shed for me, broken for me. That means more than prayer to me.